Starmer humiliated on world stage as U.S., and Israel deliver unforgivable insults to Britain. Its official Britain's so-called special relationship with America has never looked more one-sided. And Sir Keir Starmer has just been publicly humiliated in a way no prime minister should ever tolerate. In a jaw-dropping diplomatic debacle, Starmer dared to question Israel's brutal plan to seize total control of Gaza City, and was met with insults that compared him to one of history's most infamous appeasers. Yes, you heard right, America's ambassador to Israel, Mike Huckabee, didn't just disagree with our prime minister. He all but accused Starmer of being Neville Chamberlain reincarnated, handing Britain to the Nazis on a silver platter. The message was clear. In Washington's eyes, standing up to Israel's bulldozer approach is the same as surrendering to Hitler. Disgraceful doesn't even begin to cover it. The spark that lit this international firestorm, Starmer issued a mild, measured warning to Israel suggesting that maybe, just maybe, storming through Gaza City wasn't a genius strategic move they believed it to be. But rather than treat it as standard diplomacy, Huckabee chose to launch a full-blown historical smear, turning foreign policy into a grotesque game of cheap comparisons. And then, because apparently one diplomatic slap wasn't enough, U.S. Vice President J.D. Vance joined in. Speaking from David Lammy's Kent retreat, in what had been the most awkward setting imaginable, Vance gave Britain the ultimate patronizing lecture. He rolled out the classic, condescending, "We have disagreements about how to achieve our objectives, line diplomatic code for your wrong. Shut up." Even more insulting, Vance flatly rejected Starmer's plan to recognize a Palestinian state by September, sneering that there's no functional government to recognize. This, coming from a country whose own government regularly grinds to a halt. The hypocrisy is staggering. While Britain was being told to mind its place, Israel casually unveiled its master plan for Gaza, a blueprint so audacious it could have been scribbled in a school notebook. Demilitarization tick. Full Israeli security control double tick. Some vague alternative administration that isn't Hamas or the Palestinian Authority triple tick. In other words, total domination dressed up as reconstruction. And the cherry on top, the Israeli Defense Forces will provide humanitarian assistance while simultaneously taking over Gaza City. That's like saying you'll fix someone's roof while you're setting fire to their living room. Starmer, to his credit, called the plan wrong and demanded more humanitarian aid. But instead of engaging in serious discussion, Huckabee lost the plot entirely, dragging out references to Dresden bombing raids as if this was some kind of Twitter history debate. It was diplomacy reduced to a screaming match over World War II analogies, embarrassing, reckless, and utterly unprofessional. Sensing the situation spiraling, Foreign Secretary David Lammy scrambled to rally international support. He managed to pull together Australia, Italy, Germany, and New Zealand for a joint statement politely telling Israel to back off. Their warning that this risks breaching international humanitarian law was polite on the surface, but behind the language was a clear message. This is outrageous, and it has to stop. And here's the absurd twist. While Britain's closest ally, the United States, is telling us to be quiet, other world powers are openly siding with us. It's a diplomatic split screen, Washington standing shoulder to shoulder with Israel no matter the cost, while Britain finds unexpected support elsewhere. Even the United Nations couldn't cope with the chaos. They literally postponed an emergency meeting by a day, as if they needed extra time to process the sheer dysfunction unfolding. Make no mistake, this is about far more than Gaza. This is about Britain standing in the world. A Trump White House has made it painfully clear the UK is expected to be a silent partner, nodding along while America and Israel call the shots. Starmer is now walking a dangerous tightrope. Try and keep the special relationship alive without looking like a spineless pushover to the British public. Because here's the truth. When a foreign ambassador can casually accuse our prime minister of being a World War II traitor for questioning a military plan, it's not friendly disagreement. It's a public shaming. And when the vice president piles on with his own condescension, it sends a brutal message. Britain's voice doesn't matter. So here we are, a nation trying to uphold international law and basic human decency, told to pipe down by its biggest ally, while Israel forges ahead with a plan that bulldozes both cities and diplomacy. The whole world is watching, and right now, Britain looks like the awkward dinner guest nobody listens to, even when they're the only ones speaking sense. The real question isn't whether Starmer would have lost World War II, a cheap, childish insult. The question is whether Britain is still an independent player on the world stage, or just a mute extra in America's foreign policy theater. Because if our leaders can be slapped down and humiliated this easily, then maybe it's not just Gaza that's being steamrolled. Maybe Britain's voice in global affairs is being flattened right along with it.